name is Dan Yeffet. I'm a designer based in Paris for the last 20 years. I had quite a parcours, what we say in French, traveling the world until I got to my Paris point, where I settled in. My studio is there for the last, as I said, 20 years, and I developed products, light, furniture, with a handpicked of clients that I like working with, and I had the privilege of. The reason why it took 2 years, I think it's because Wewood were on a growing process, and there was many things parallel happened. And nevertheless, it allows me to weave my contacts with Salvador, the owner, and with Joanna, the artistic director. It created a certain understanding of the process and the needs of Wewood, and it allowed me also to take the time to develop the pieces the way the kind of the vision that Joanna had, with my know-how, my language of design. 2 years, one might consider it a long time, but it was the right time for us. And finally, we came out with those new products, which I'm very happy with. So it was worth waiting. So first, there's no one way of designing. There are ideas that just pop up in your head and they just appear and it works, and things that you need to rework over and over until you adjust them. The first part of the collection that you actually get to see that I did with Wewood is the stuff that were relatively easier to conceive. Joanna and Salvador had a certain demand, which I quite quickly answered. It's also about feeling the people in front of you so you understand them. So technically, we had some stuff to solve, but as a concept, I think we were more straight to the point with it. We knew what we would needed and what we wanted to contribute to it with our language. So it was a relatively painless process. The developing, technically wise, was more challenging because, as you know, the simplest things are the hardest to achieve, because then they are being measured in nuances, and that's what we needed to work on the small nuances. But I'm quite happy about the result, I have to say. Funny enough, my favorite one is the one that you see behind me. It's the shelf system, because it's playful and it's architectural at the same time. It has a function which is quite clear. And I said it to you and to Joanna earlier. It's not everything that I design I would like to live with, but this is one of those pieces that I can see myself living with. I like the simplicity, yet the functionality. My idea was to have a certain statement. My pieces has this sculptural aspect, yet minimalist, so it works with volumes and lines. I wanted to work with giving the user a certain flexibility of adapting a system to his own private space by having a playful moment when you assemble it to fit to your needs. The volumes versus the lines are kind of a dialogue that I had between the materials. Working with volumes and then having thin lines is something that I like to do to have those little nuances of my work. You can't see it from the perspective that we have now, but every unit on the top of it is covered by a stone, which gives it another little touch of aspect. And the design was quite straightforward. Sometimes you see the things that's what I like about design. People always ask me, how do you come up with ideas? It's very random. In that case, it's very quite close to the very authentic first sketch that I did. I just knew what I wanted to do. And luckily enough, Joanna and Salvador actually saw it in my drawings. And then we went directly for it. So it was kind of a painless product, this one. In a way, you will see a certain detail which follows me in many ways. It's about the connection of materials. In many of my work, there is about how materials intersect with each other, how they actually come across. In that case, because it's a monomaterial, more or less, then you see the way the shelf is entering the volume. And in the series of tables, it's the way that the tabletop is being attached to the leg, also is intersecting with the material. And it's a lot of nuances from things that we have in our collective memory from different constructing aspect or whatever. But it's basically was having something which is anchor you to the ground, and something that the light which actually elevates it and gives us the ability to use it. To say I think about it, it's a big word. It comes a bit naturally today. There is a certain way that we design when you work with a client or with a partner. I like to call it more of a partner. You understand the needs. Also, you have to remember that not every client or end user uses the same product in the same way. And playfulness is an important aspect in that sense. So if you can give a certain flexibility in your product to the way you use them in your own place, then I like to add it. I don't like to be rigid with my design and this is how you use it and that's the only way. So with the coffee table, there's an overlapping game. There's you can use it as a what we call a side table for a sofa, or as a combination of centerpieces within a sofa system. So yeah, we give this kind of flexibility when we think design, but it comes quite naturally at that stage of my career. So I think of it like that. I like what we call it's primer materials, which wood is one of them, and stone is one of them, and glass is one of them. I like simplicity of material. I like to work with the possibility of manipulating, and when it fits, to join different materials from different zones to give to complement one each other. Stone, in that case, was a detail that came onto to design also in the philosophy of it, of the design itself, for each design that I did, but also for the look of it. And as it wasn't really notable at Wewood, I was kind of happy to introduce this. I always say that a good designer is one that uses his creative ability to do for the others. Otherwise, I would be an artist. If I would do the things and I would be very non-flexible, it will create a problem on the long term. The definition of the way I see design today, it's by creative tools to answer people's need in a creative way. And artisans, as we say, are the core or the main link between the final user and the creative mind. So you can't neglect them. They are responsible for making it happen. And each territory, the artisans that we work with, has a know-how, which is from here to way better than mine. A person that dedicates his life for doing woodwork will know better than me. And I like listening to people. I think that every surrounding that we move through has an impact on you. The accumulation of all the souvenirs that I take up from the different cultures, different places, has a certain impact on me, on my creative process, or my understanding of people needs. And in general, I'm a big believer that in whatever we do, it's all about people. It's about the people that I work with, the people that buy my products, the people that cross me along the day. So this traveling around the world has definitely had an impact on my creative process. That's a very big question in the design world at the moment. The tools of the visual tools become so sophisticated that it can actually simulate reality. It creates a bit of waves and disturbance in the world. Now, I'm from an old era that what you see exists, what you don't see doesn't exist. I won't lie, it's hard for me to see because I understand the difficulties in generating designs and actually making them happen, and the simplicity of doing it over a computer and just having a great image. But there's a big gap between the two, and the physical will never be taken by virtual. It facilitates a certain aspect, but it creates problems in another, and I can give you several examples of why not. But I also try to stay open because we have to remember that things are changing. So you can either block it or join to this running train forward. Nevertheless, I think if you don't have the object exist, you don't have the right to present it in different ways virtually. I think it's on the long term is a mistake. It's too easy. It will cannibalize the market. And it kills also the people that actually doing the stuff. So it's a bit of both. But it's a subject which is very much now on the philosophical aspect is very much on the table with everywhere you go. Exciting. First of all, the shop is amazing. So for this, I was very happy to come here to see it. Then for my own product, obviously, it's like giving birth. So it's 2 years, and then you see the real thing. It doesn't matter how simple or sophisticated it is. Then coexisting with other people, with great designers, it's a privilege and it's nice. Also, in reality, I wouldn't like someone to have a mono designer space. It's about sharing the space with other names, with other styles, with other... It's reality. That's what happens. You don't buy one thing and that's it. So I like to see this puzzle of life in different objects, in different styles, in different places, different origins of the creators, and different... it's a celebration. So it has to stay like this.